Hey guys, it's Mikexingchen. So after the last video I did about Chinese supermarkets, I wanted to go into more detail about the different sections of the market, such as the snack aisle, the frozen goods aisle. So today, we're gonna cover sauces and spices. And this is from my pantry. These are the sauces and spices I always have on hand. This way, if I'm craving a particular dish, I can just go buy the main ingredients, come home and cook it. Also, if you're like me, I always have random ingredients in the fridge or in the cupboards. For example, a piece of tofu or a random bag of dried noodles. And these sauces and spices allow me to be really creative with a boring ingredient. And I'm serious, I literally have a piece of tofu sitting in my fridge right now. It's actually in the freezer. And that, my friends, is how you make frozen tofu, which is absolutely amazing. I'll get into that in another video. Of course, I have more sauces than this in my cupboards, including, like the basic salt and pepper, things like that. But this is what I consider the essential, what you must have in terms of Chinese sauces and spices. So let's go through each one of them. Oh, I see an imposter. What are you doing here, Mr. Ketchup? Oh, although it's jalapeno and spicy and I do love you, you, my friend, are not Asian or Chinese, so you gotta, stay out of this one. So let's get started, and we're gonna start with the spice section. This is a very popular Chinese spice. This is star anise. This is a very potent spice, and I love what it says on the bag. It says, please cook before serving. And number 2, do not eat as a snack. Yeah, don't do that, because this is like, you can't, how do you eat this as a snack? I mean, does it even look like a good snack? But anyway, this spice is mainly used for sauces. It's very fragrant, it's very pungent, so you only really need a couple at a time. Probably my favorite food item that utilizes this is tea eggs, and I have that recipe in the description box. All right, next up is, oh, check this out. See, I hate my spices like I hate my clothing. No, actually, I just didn't have a clip for my Sichuan peppercorns, so I just used this. It's kind of convenient. This way my spice will never get lost. This is something I utilize a lot because if you like Sichuan food, if you like spicy, numbing flavors, you have to have Sichuan peppercorn. So if you ever had Sichuan food, you taste a dish and it's spicy and it numbs your mouth a little bit, this is what does the numbing. These spices can also be grounded up and put on dishes as well. But normally they are sauteed with the dishes, which makes it dangerous because you might bite into one of them, and if you do, your whole mouth's gonna turn numb. So if you ever go to a Sichuan restaurant, again, if you bite into something that makes your mouth all tingly, yeah, spit that out. And I'll tell you guys a funny story about this. Once I have friends coming in from Chicago and they never had Sichuan food before, and one of them turns to me and I could see he's sucking on something in his mouth. And he turns to me, he goes, Mike, let me ask you, what is this really interesting ingredient that's making my mouth numb? And right then I knew it was a Sichuan peppercorn, but this guy was sucking on it for dear life, like extracting all the flavor numbiness out of this one peppercorn. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, if your mouth is turning numb when you're chewing something, you should spit that thing out. These two I always have on hand. This is dry chili powder, and these are dry chilies. So why I have both is this is basically what I use to make my hot oil. You could also get these and grind them up yourself, but I typically just buy them as a pack. Also, I keep the dried chilies on hand because some dishes, I don't really want the powder to mix in with my saute or with my sauce. I just want a couple chilies to kind of really give the dish a nice kick, but I don't really want the powdery residue in there. For example, a dish like sauteed shredded potatoes, I don't really want the chili powder in there because it's gonna mess with the color, it's gonna mess with the consistency. I want this, it's gonna give it a spicy flavor with no residue. Chicken bouillon powder. You might not call this a spice, but I always gotta keep this on hand because it really gives the dish a very nice chicken brothy flavor. A lot of people don't like to use this because of the MSG content it has. For me, sometimes I get lazy and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna use this because it tastes good. And I've been eating MSG all my life, so my body's probably used to it. But anyway, you can always substitute salt for this. But remember, this thing is already 50 to 70% salt. So for each teaspoon you want to replace of this, maybe just add half or a quarter teaspoon of salt. Cumin powder, one of my favorite spices of all time. You can smell this thing from like a mile away if you go to like these Chinese barbecue stands. And that's mainly what this powder is used for. Barbecues or very dry stir fries. So the next time you're barbecuing any sort of meat, trust me, add this and add some dry chili powder, it's gonna make that meat incredible. Also, this is really good for dry stir frying things like lamb or beef or even chicken. So all you gotta do is add a little bit of oil, meat, salt, this, little dry chili powder, and that dish is gonna be awesome. The last spice I wanna talk to you guys about is wuxiangfen, or Chinese 5-spice. The 5 spices that goes into Chinese 5-spice are cinnamon, fennel, cloves, peppercorn, and star anise. The flavor is so distinct, as soon as you take a bite, you'll know if it has 5 spice in there or not. And this can be used in a lot of ways. You can dry rub this on meat. I've even seen people add this on fruits and also make ice cream out of this. So again, if you like barbecuing, you have a dry rub, add this into your dry rub, it's gonna give it a really distinct aromatic flavor. So as I'm recording this, I kind of realized that the video for just the spices is gonna be pretty long, so I'm gonna actually break this into 2 parts. So my next video, I'm gonna talk about all the sauces you see here. I'm actually gonna try to find as many of these sauces and spices on Amazon, and I'll put the links in the description boxes below. So if you wanna get them online, that's a good, convenient way to do it. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.